Um, the second point is the notion that it would be cheaper if the city was not backed up in any documented figures demonstrating that there was some study put into this decision. Third, I didn't hear any consideration was given to the volume of calls that the city would be paying for, or the number of phones that would be assessed, or using Region 26. There's no adequate board discussion that I see that took place before this decision was made. I think the board needs to revisit this issue again after considering my whole statement. I'd like to remind the board that in the January meeting, I stated to the board that we have council members sitting here, right now, that are enjoying an umbrella protection that allow them to go to local bars, get drunk, drive home while the city police look the other way. On Saturday evening, on March 7th, it was the day after the special meeting, my passenger and I were driving around town, taking in the recently remodeled business district, all lit up with the very decorative lights, when I observed an individual crossing the street in front of my pickup. I slowed and stopped to let this individual cross the street. The person appeared to me, as well as other witnesses, to be having great difficulty in walking a straight line. I need to point out at this point that the board had received a slight amount of drizzle, which in some spots it had frozen on the street surface, but it was very spotty throughout town. I gave a quick assessment as to if this may be a contributing factor to the individual having difficulty crossing the street, but I determined that the staggering from left to right by this person was more than just spotty ice cover. I recognize this individual to be a city council member. The street crossing was at 16th Street between L and K, in front of the All Come Back Saloon, in the middle of the block. I continued to watch the city council member cross the street, get into a small pickup truck parked diagonally at the corner of 16th Street and K. He entered the vehicle and started the pickup. I was able to verify the vehicle had been started by the emission of the exhaust out of the tailpipe. I then called 911 to report a possible drunk driver at the corner of 16th and K traveling north on 16th Street, assuming that would be the logical direction to travel once the vehicle backed out from its diagonal position against the curb. I gave the 911 person the license number of the pickup. My passenger and I then proceeded to continue our drive. I had been stopped in the northbound traffic lane at 16th Street. On Sunday morning, 3/8/09, I received a call from the Valley County Sheriff's Department requesting I come to the Sheriff's Department to provide a written statement to my call to the 911 Emergency Response Center reporting a possible drunk driver. I did comply with the request of our Sheriff's Department. I was informed by the Valley County Sheriff's Department that they did make contact with the city council member upon his departure of 16th Street and K on the evening of 3/7/09. And that city council member had also contacted the sheriff on Sunday morning, 3/8/09. The gist of the story is as follows. The 911 emergency response personnel, after receiving a call from me, broadcasted the received report of a possible drunk driver along with who the registered owner was. The registered owner received a phone call from someone that heard the broadcast go out on their police scanner, informing him of the report. Assumably, he was still sitting at the corner of 16th and K, letting the pickup warm up to remove the accumulated drizzle that had turned into ice off the windows. Assumably, the council member, after receiving the warning phone call, returned back to the All Come Back Saloon to seek out someone to drive him and his vehicle home. I must stress the two previous statements, beginning with assumably, as just that. As after I made the 911 call, I did not continue any observation. However, the positive statement that the council member received a warning call was made by the city council member himself to the Valley County Sheriff, and then told to me as to who the registered owner was. The Valley County Sheriff's Department did make contact with the person driving the pickup. As I understand, it was not being driven by the council member, and that he was successful in finding someone else to drive him home after receiving the warning call, then choosing to make the responsible choice. And I see the young man that drove the pickup home that evening is here, and I would like to thank him for doing the responsible thing. As I previously stated, after I made the 911 call to report a possible drunk driver, I did not continue any observation of the city council member. However, I did begin observation of the Ord City police officer to see how he responded or not with the report. I observed the Ord police officer at 17th and L Street facing south. He crossed L Street, proceeded south to P and O, slowly circling around the city park. Then after several minutes proceeded north on 18th Street to L, pausing at the stop sign where I observed a small pickup crossing L Street southbound on 19th at the same time. The Ord City police officer proceeded north on 18th to K Street, turning east, and then turned south on 17th Street to return circling the city park at P and Q. The Ord police officer made no attempt to stop the reported vehicle as a possible drunk driver, and ignoring the crossing of the small pickup at 14th Street and L, knowing that the registered owner was a city council member, thereby affording the city council member special police protection by not enforcing the laws of DUI upon that member. I am sure that if that police officer was asked why he did not stop the reported vehicle as a possible DUI, he would say it's because of a conflict of interest and not a good career move. I'd like to point out at this point, I don't believe that the cell phone call was made by any Ord police officer. It is clear that the victim of the former Ord police officer, known as Leroy, has gotten less protection than this city council member. Let me say that again so it will sink in. The Ord Police Department gave more protection to a possible drunk driver that is a city council board member than the vulnerable young lady that was victimized by the former Ord police officer. As I previously stated, the Valley County Sheriff's Department on Sunday morning requested a written statement from me after the city council member called the sheriff complaining that he is being set up and acting in a conspiratory manner with me to get him. Additionally, the council member demanded that I be prosecuted for making a false report because the vehicle upon departure of 16th and K Street did not go northbound but went westbound on K Street. The council member, ignoring the logical direction of travel of the vehicle diagonally parked on the east side of the street, would be northbound. Assumedly, the city board member, being on the subcommittee to the police department communications, contacted Region 26, our 911 communication center, to find out who reported him as a possible drunk driver. When I reported the possible drunk driver, I gave my name and phone number when asked. I felt there was no need to be anonymous. In my opinion, this council member has violated the public trust placed in him and has abused his elected office by having every intention of driving his vehicle past the legal limit after consuming alcoholic beverages. Self-evident by him entering the vehicle and starting it up, and by him seeking out someone to drive his vehicle, drive him and his vehicle home after misusing the 911 system. The people of the city of Ord have spent considerable funds to upgrade the business district to project a certain image fitting of the people that live here, not to project an image of one of its city council members illuminated under its beautiful light staggering across the street. The council members' participation in the misuse of the law enforcement frequencies demonstrates what level he is operating on and his willingness to participate in impeding law enforcement.